So I want to talk about our EPC experience in the CIS region. Enerparc, as maybe some of you know, is one of the largest privately held EPC companies in the world. So just some numbers: we are fully owned by the management, have roughly 1,800 megawatt installed since incorporation back in 2009. We have 130 employees with an annual revenue of roughly 200 million. We have started in 2012 to invest in our own developments. So we are also IPP, mainly in our own country, Germany, and some neighboring countries. So we are now close to 1 gigawatt of solar plants which we own. We have 1,300 megawatt under O&M contract, so not only our own portfolio for sure, but also for other clients, which is natural, as if you provide EPC service to third-party companies and are asked to give a PR guarantee, then you naturally have them for 2, 3, sometimes more years under contract. We also, which is not mentioned here, we have our own trading company. Of course, it's meanwhile mandatory in Germany to trade the energy at the power exchange in Leipzig. So that's what we do, and in peak times we trade roughly 6 to 7 gigawatt hours per day to the power exchange. Not only PV, we are completely focused on PV, don't do anything, not CSP, not wind, but in trading we do also some wind and biogas, because it's just about the kilowatt hour, not the technology itself. What we have learned in Enerparc is that the market dynamics, I think you all have faced it, have dramatically changed in the past years. So when we were speaking about market dynamics 15 years back, it was more about the changes of the feed-in tariff in Germany, nothing else. But today we don't know where to build tomorrow. So, which is a very difficult situation for a company, particularly the bigger companies, because if you want to ride this wave, you need a very flexible and dynamic structure. And we also have learned it's very easy to open an office in a country, but it's very difficult to close it. So, and if you just see UK, which popped up, which was interesting for 2 years, and now it's closed, everything is shut down, every company tried to seek other opportunities abroad, the UK market. We decided not to run in each country and open a branch. That's why we have formed some kind of consortium cooperation for certain regions, and the region we are talking about is we have entered some years back in 2013 into a cooperation with Rodina Energy Group. Evgeny is standing on the last column. So he's our partner here for this region, and this is very important to us, because if you are active in Ukraine, if you're active in Belarus, if you're active in Kazakhstan, you have to bring in the local flavor. It's not that Germany it's the most matured market in terms of solar, the most knowledge market, that I just can enter into this country and do it the same way like I do it in Germany. So we need those partners, and we have them in Jordan, we have them in Turkey, we have them in Northern Africa, all the regions where we are. So we try to avoid to set up our companies overall in the world, but work with reliable, trustful partners, and that's what we do since years now with Rodina. So if you see the value chain of a PV plant, and what do we cover? I mean, as Enerparc in Germany and also as Rodina in Ukraine, we cover more or less the whole value chain, but if it comes to third-party services, we really concentrate on engineering, procurement, construction, and O&M services. That's what we offer. We don't want to get involved into project development. This is part of the investor. We don't want to get involved in financing. We do not provide construction financing, but we open our network. Let it be equity, let it be debt. We are very open if you have an interesting project that we bring in the right equity partner, because we have a fairly good understanding of who is interested in what kind in which country. We in Enerparc and Odessa like to be very transparent, and in my next slide I think I will also say something different what you, Jan has just said in terms of pricing, but what we do is not rocket science, EPC. We do not build a nuclear power plant, we do not build an airport, we just build a PV plant. Therefore we like to be very transparent, and that's why we also open our network, our facilities also on the financing side. Financing is a difficult issue always. I mean, in Germany we live in heaven. You can finance PV plants over 18 years below 2% interest rates. We just refinanced our portfolio with 1.4% on interest rates. But in some countries it's much more difficult, and we see more and more banks entering into this market. We see more and more debt which is provided to that, because we don't have a liquidity issue in the market. We have low interest rates, and companies, banks are really looking to deploy capital. So the capital is there, but you have to find the right projects, the right partners, and the right contractual setup. And unfortunately, most of the programs, or the banking programs that are in place, are not made for PV. They are made for a nuclear power plant or an airport, but not for a simple PV plant. Sometimes it's too small, sometimes the domestic content requirement is an issue. So that's something where we, I think, are quite experienced and can help also. In terms of EPC, I want to highlight a couple of different movements we have seen in the market. You know, typical full turnkey EPC, that's one solution. I think everyone is aware and has a fairly good understanding what it means. But nowadays we also talk about EPC Light and EPCM models, EPC management models. EPC Light is if an investor decides to source certain equipment on its own and we just do the balance of. Of course, he has better conditions or a good relationship to a module supplier or to an inverter supplier or whatever. And if you play this further, if he wants to buy more or less everything, up to the installation costs and the installation companies and the screws and everything, then we call it EPC management. We just do the engineering and the design, we help them in procuring the stuff, because we as Enerparc know, and as Odessa, we know where you get the best prices. We are very, let's say, we have a good sense to the suppliers, a good understanding of the market development, and there's sometimes a company which needs to show revenue in the next quarter, and we know this, and then we can help you to find the right and good pricing in the market. But you source everything, and we just make sure that you don't face any scope gaps, that everything fits together, and you get a commission planned. This is the more important message I want to send to you. This is meanwhile financeable with banks. A couple of years back, no banks would have touched this. I always I wanted to get it from one hand. I just want to get a full turnkey EPC. But now banks are willing to finance also on EPC Light and EPCM model basis, which is very good, because for you as an investor, it brings down your costs. So I said that it is not rocket science what we do. I mean, however, there are some challenges in building PV plants, and if you see the 4 topics which I mentioned, most of them relate somehow to logistics. At the end, building a PV plant is a logistic project. There is, I think, no other business in the world where you can deploy so much capital in such a short term. We built 100 megawatt in 3 months. Can do that, 100 million. I mean, meanwhile it's a little bit less, but that's the time we need. If get a prepared site. Our biggest plant in Neu-Hardenberg, which is a former Soviet airport, which is 85 megawatt, we built in 2 months, including cleaning of ammunition and everything. So we had to move 3,000 people out, bring them in, clear the boundaries. So it's about logistics. So it's about organizing logistics. You have to handle inbound, outbound, the logistics. The other thing is managing cash flows. We as EPC, we are cash flow driven, purely cash flow driven. We want to have a cash positive curve. So we are not looking for, let's say, high down payment, or we are looking at from it in a different way. We are looking for low down payments and long payment terms. Investors can see naturally in a different way because they have deeper pockets than we have. So if they say, they go to the supplier and say, okay, give me a price, and they say, okay, price is set and payment conditions are 10% down payment and 9% long payment term, while LC covered 100 days, 270 days, whatever. Then the investor can say, okay, now how is the price moving if I increase the down payment from 10 to 40% or something? That's something what we would never do as an EPC, but you as an investor could do this, and you can negotiate on the price, I can promise you. So for us, managing cash flows is key. The third topic is handling customs. This is something I don't have any clue how customs works in Ukraine, in Kazakhstan, in Belarus, in Mongolia, where we're going to build. So that's why it's always part of the EPC contract. So we have seen, particularly here in a Ukrainian project, and I think Evgeny knows about that, we had to deliver certain equipment and we had some wrong documents, and the forwarder made a mistake. So the truck was standing in the nowhere land between Belarus and Ukraine. He couldn't move forward to Ukraine, he couldn't move back, and we had to feed him for 10 days with pizza. Imagine somewhere land. So you have to manage it. You have really to take care of it. Because if you talk about a 20 megawatt plant, which is not a big plant, we talk about 150 trucks. And if you want to build this in 1.5 months or whatever, you can imagine how many trucks you have to handle per day. The fourth topic is dealing with local regulations. This is also important what we can do. That's why we need this local flavor I was talking about. We need someone who speaks the local language. It always comes to interconnections between regulatory authorities or other people, the investor. Therefore, you have to localize the engineering, everything. So you really need this. But apart from this, building the EV plant is somehow easy. Just some pictures. I flipped them quickly through, which we have done in Ukraine, in Szczecin over the past 1.5 years. This is one close to Chernobyl. Now you might have heard it in one of the presentations. We are going to build directly in Chernobyl, so we slowly move to Chernobyl, gain some experience. One larger project which we did recently and finished was Smorgon, which was really challenging because it was built between December and February this year. So Evgeny was moving the ramming machines on steel plates because it was so muddy, we couldn't move them at all. So, but we managed to build it right in time. So in parallel, we did another 11 megawatt project to this, and just started another 16.5 megawatt project, which is under construction. So Kazakhstan, Brunei, we're going to build the 50 megawatt now from June onwards, also together there. This is a Chernobyl plant we're gonna do, and then I come to an end, hopefully.
Thank you for your experience.
Touch.